Hello, everyone, and welcome to I Am Not Okay with Day. I am your host, Day. You guys, it's season 7. I just recalled last season when I was all excited about season 5, and it was actually season 6. So, but I know today we are here for season 7. Oh, guys, I missed you. I missed doing the podcast. And I know, I am a broken record at this point. Every time I say it's been so long and so much has happened, and I took this long break, but I'm going to explain myself, okay? It's been a while, y'all, but we are back and I am very, very excited. Um, it's funny because since I started the podcast, I did not take any breaks because I was struggling. I actually took a break because a lot was going on. My energy and time has been put into so many other things, a lot of exciting things actually to come. And so that is the reason why I have not recorded the podcast. Life has been happening for the good. It's been a great year, honestly. It's been a good year. The year started out a little shaky there, and there's definitely been challenges. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like it was tough. Frankly, we're still here. By the time this comes out, it'll be 2025. We're still here in the year 2024, right in the end there, and it's been great. But that's why I've been gone. I've been gone because things have been happening, and I'm really excited because this new year, this new season, I think is going to be the best one yet as far as, um, hopefully the content that I'm gonna be bringing to you, but, there's a lot of exciting things happening for me personally. And so I'm really excited about just this next chapter and everything that's to come. And I'm excited to share that all with you. So I know it's been a while, y'all. We are back and better than ever, I think. And so let's jump right in into what have me feeling some type of way. So, y'all, it's been a while and I've been up to a lot of things. And one thing that I have been up to that frankly has changed the game for me is swimming. Okay, listen, I know that sounds so basic, but hear me out. Hear me out. So, here's the thing, y'all. I have some issues with one of my feet. I've had for years at this point. But a couple years ago, I started having a lot of pain in my right foot, and so, in this last year or so, just trying to get myself together and, take care of my health, one of those things was working out more consistently. Well, something I discovered since I started having this pain is that that's become a lot more difficult, and so I got into this honestly, like, really down headspace where I was feeling pretty helpless about the fact that, man, like, there I felt so frustrated with my body, and y'all already know the complicated relationship I have with my body if you've been following along. And so for me, it just felt like, okay, here's another thing that isn't working the way I want it to work, you know? And I really struggled with that. But it was during the summer months where, my apartment had the pool open. And one of my best friends was like, "Hey, why don't you just like go to the pool and work out in the pool?" And I was saying, "Yeah, but the thing about it is like the apartment pool, it's kind of hard because it's not my favorite pool of all. On top of the fact that I'm not going to be there by myself all the time. And so it's kind of, I like, it would be good for the summer months, but I want to have something that I can utilize outside of the summer months. Like, I don't want to like start doing, workouts in the pool and then, oh, now it's winter and I have nothing to do. Well, that's when she was like, "Okay, but what about looking into, like, the Y or something?" Or, like, a p getting access to a pool that you can use all year round. And why did I not think of that? Like, this is why friendships are important, y'all. This is why you need to have friends, and you need to talk to them about things and mull over ideas with them because they will literally bring up things that you didn't even think of. So I started looking into it. I looked into the Y in my area. It was so expensive. Um, and then I felt discouraged again because I was like, oh, I don't have money. Like, I can't do this. And then I discovered my local rec center that was, I mean, so much more affordable than the Y. Also had a pool and pretty much everything else that the Y has. And so I was so excited, you guys. I was so excited. So I discovered this pool. I joined the rec center and I started going to the pool swimming. And okay, I used to swim back in the day. And I loved it. I mean, I love the water, period. Like the water, the beach, any body of water is my favorite. The beach, especially, though, is my favorite place of all time. Like, you want to make me happy, you take me to a beach somewhere. And so, just being able to go to the pool, it was amazing. But then, the logisticals of it, the logisticals. I was okay, so my hair's short, of course, but it's still natural, and I did not want the damage of the chlorine to ruin it, and so that was a challenge that I was dealing with as far as, like, swimming, because I was going there, y'all, like, almost every day, like, at least 3 to 4 times a day. I was really prioritizing getting my butt into that water, okay? And then that started to become a little challenging. I didn't wanna wet my hair, but then, like, obviously swimming, I mean, there are ways to swim, but, it's not good when you're not putting your whole head in the water. Then I discovered an aquatic aerobics class, and, I was like, "This is interesting," and I went, and I fell in love with it. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. It was so fun, and so I started doing that more often, and aquatics aerobics is not exactly swimming. It's really just a workout in the water. Most times you're in the shallow end. But it was really good. It was really good for my foot pain. And it was so, I don't know, it was so fun. It just felt so relaxing. Just like there's something about being in water in general for me that feels good. But then on top of that, it, I felt empowered. I felt empowered in my body. And I think it was really amazing because, I talked about the vaginismus and just how much that made me frustrated with my body and feel a sense of helplessness in my body. And then with my foot, I also felt a sense of helplessness. And being in the water, I was able to feel empowered in that, okay, no, I'm not helpless here. I can do the workouts. Like, I can do the things that maybe I can't do outside of the water, and it doesn't hurt, like, this is something that also not only does it not hurt, but it feels good. Like, I feel good doing it, and this started to become my thing. Okay, so I was like, "I have to prioritize this, so I literally reworked my schedule, you guys. I reworked my whole entire schedule at work so I can make sure I have time to go in the mornings. And it's been a game changer, let me tell you. But in recent months, just like at the time I'm recording this, it's December. And just with the holiday, there's been a lot going on. And so it's been a little bit harder with my schedule to make it there. And I kind of like fell off a little bit, but I went yesterday. Uh, and it just reinvigorated everything in me, and that made me just feel happy, happy. I am my happiest in the water, and so that's what happy feels the type of way. It made me feel good. And I think this is a really good foundation or a good segue into what I want to talk about today, which is just my progress. I want to talk about the progress I've made, and I want to talk about how much I've changed in for the better and what that looks like for me today. So let's dive in. So y'all, as I said, I've continued to, do the work in therapy. I've continued to work, obviously, and it's been an amazing journey. It's been challenging for sure, but something changed within me. I also just saw Wicked, y'all, so there's that. No, but something changed within me, and it's so funny because I was just talking to my friend about it the other day, and I was explaining to her that it was not some sudden change. I think it's been gradual. I think it's been, um, a process, right? And I think a big part of it started when I released the Vaginismus podcast episode because, I mean, obviously, I've been working a lot with my therapist regarding the vaginismus and just a lot of the shame that I've been holding because of that. But being able to release that to the world, quite literally, put it on the internet and just like put out, something that was once taboo, something that was once so shameful to me that I would never even utter, even to myself, to be able to put that out there, there was such a freedom in doing that. And it helped me to honestly like eliminate that shame. Truly. Because the thing about shame is, and I talked about this in a previous podcast episode, with shame comes lies. Shame lies to you and tells you things that are just untrue about who you are as a person. And you start to internalize and believe those things. And I did. I did for so long. Like, I believed that I was not enough for so long, y'all. For 8, almost 9 years of my life, I I held on to that belief, and I didn't do it intentionally, but it was just, like, something so ingrained in me at that point, it felt almost impossible to even let go of, and it just made me feel so inadequate, and I didn't even realize, like, how much it ruined my sense of self, and being able to work through that in therapy, being able to release that on my own personally and then put it out there, it just changed everything for me. I was able to feel free. Like, I was free from the shackles of shame. Um, and you know what that does? You break away from the lies that shame tells you. And then you have to replace the lies with truth, with the truth about yourself, with the truth about who you are. And that work is what I've been doing in this past year. And I think being able to unconsciously look at the truth in my face and to accept it and to embrace it. It has been a journey, but that is the reason why I feel so good today. That is the reason why I have this sense of contentment and joy, and that is something that no one can take from me, and it's just been so great. I mean, I was talking to my best friend a few days ago about the fact that I think I love myself. And I know that sounds crazy to say because maybe we don't hear that enough, first of all. Like, we don't hear people talking about how much they love themselves enough. In fact, I think what is more common is seeing people who don't actually love themselves, who are actually deeply insecure, pretend to do so through being cocky and overly confident, and it's not genuine. It's not real, and you can tell. And it's rare to see someone fully love themselves and embrace themselves and talk about that. And this is why I'm talking about it right now. And this is why I'm dedicating this episode to this. And frankly, this is not going to be the first time you hear me say this. And I think this next season is going to be the season of self love, of prioritizing self, making space for self. And I'm really excited about what that's going to look like for me. But yeah, I was telling her I love myself. And I'm not saying this as like anything to be cocky, but like truly, I think I really fully believe in that because I'm no longer holding those beliefs about myself. Like, I actually do believe that I am worthy. I am enough. I am that girl. I know I'm that girl. I am strong and I'm also an emotional person and I am thoughtful and I am funny and I am beautiful. And I'm not saying this as affirmations that I just have to like say to eventually believe. Like, these are things that I genuinely feel and I can see how it is changing the way I move in the world. I do believe that I had this before. I think like there is a how can I explain this? I think when I was younger, I had this kind of love for myself, but I think a lot of it was based on naivete of like I hadn't experienced life and challenges. I had a great childhood. I had great parents, and I didn't really have a lot of adversity to challenge my sense of self until the divorce, until all these things that happened recently. And since I've been able to do that, it was just such a breakdown. But now, with all of that work that I've done, on top of the acceptance of God's love for me, I'm transformed. I am transformed. I am transformed into the person I always knew I could be. And something I was telling my friend is that I always knew I could get to this place. Like, when I got divorced, in the very beginning, I was struggling. I was in a dark place, but I had the thought, I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to do all these things. And I know I'm going to be better. And I know restoration is going to be possible. But in my head, honestly, at that time, my version of restoration was being with another man, having a healthier sexual experience. And it's funny because all of that, like, restoration has to do with a man. It has to do with somebody else. And what I realized recently is this, the way I feel about myself today, this is a restoration I was actually looking for. This is a place that I knew I would be in, but I didn't know it would look like this. I didn't know that the goal, like the ultimate goal was to be healthy, it was to be healed, but I didn't know like what being healed meant, which even saying healed, we've talked about healed versus healing, recovered versus in recovery. I don't think I'm like healed in the set. Actually, hmm, actually, yeah, I think I am. I think it's a continuous process of healing. Like, I definitely think I'm healed from the shame of my divorce and a lot of the pain that I experienced through the divorce and through that marriage and that relationship. But the ultimate goal is where I'm at right now, and I didn't even know it. I didn't even know that was what it was. But now that I'm in it, now I can recognize the goal is self-love, like truly loving, accepting yourself without the need for anyone else's approval, validation, or anything. Ah, and it just feels so good. Like I can't describe it. And it's good because I know it's 100% in my hands. Like no one can take this away from me. Um, and I'm so grateful that I'm here in this place. I mean, I could not have gotten here without God, obviously. Like, He is the number one reason why I'm here because He has worked so hard to reveal that truth to me. Like I was saying earlier, the truth of who I am, which is someone that He created perfectly in His image. I am someone that He sent His only Son for to die for. He sent His only Son to die for me because of how much He loves me. He is someone that has shown me over and over and over again the lengths that He will go to save me. It makes me so emotional to think about. There were moments when I would be struggling in that shame, and I kid you not, I would hear the words of the song. Do you know the song, "Reckless Love"? Just the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. And it's almost like God was like, "No," like, He was telling me, "I love you. You are worth it. You are enough." He was telling me all of these things to make sure that I knew, like, God was fighting so hard for me to know that I'm worth it and to break down that shame. And the moment that I actually decided to embrace that and accept that love is the moment that I've been able to look at myself in the mirror and feel happy with what I'm seeing. And not because I'm perfect, like physically or anything like that, because I am not, but because of that, like almost radical acceptance of myself. I mean, if the God of the universe loves and accepts me, why can't I accept myself? Me, a flawed human. It just, it's just amazing. It makes me emotional to think about. And I think acceptance is the biggest word. I think that's the biggest theme because, something I've been struggling with too is also like the external parts of my body, like body image. It's crazy. I've never really worried about body image, but especially in the last couple of years and even in this last year, I gained the most weight I've ever had. Like I am the biggest I've been, which I'm not a big person in general, you know, but I'm the biggest I've ever been. I've always been skinny and small. And so like that was a really hard thing to come to terms with. And I really struggled with that sense of self too, because I was like, dang, you know, but I accepted this love that God had for me and I released that shame and I actively chose not to engage with those thoughts of you're this or you're that. No. And anytime those thoughts came up, I said, no, no, we're not doing this. And I didn't even replace those thoughts with anything. I just said, I'm not doing this. And I don't know, like, I guess it's just a practice, like gradually after some time of practicing that and doing that, um, I got to a place where, yeah, my body never changed. Let me tell you, I did not lose any weight, but the way that I saw myself was different. I started to embrace my body, embrace the flaws, embrace the things that I used to look at as wrong or bad, and dress the way that I wanted to dress and challenge myself with certain clothing items. And it's been great. And I'm just so grateful, y'all. And you know, this is what I want for everybody. I want everyone to get to this place of just complete and utter acceptance of self because it is unmatched, let me tell you. And I could not have gotten here also without my support system. Let me tell you that I have the best friends in the entire world, just point blank and period. Okay. And it is a luxury. I know this because of the work that I do. I mean, it's heartbreaking because there's so many clients that I have who don't have even one person that they can just like talk to that is their true unconditional love and support. And so the fact that I have many people who love and support me in that way, it is a luxury. It is my one of my greatest gratitudes, and it's definitely been a big part of this process also because there is something about other people loving you and accepting you unconditionally that also helps you love yourself. And again, it's not that you need the validation of others, but it definitely plays a part in getting to that place of complete acceptance, and it's beautiful and is something I will forever cherish, and this is the reason why I always nurture my friendships because it is so important to me. My family is another thing that has gotten me to this place. It's interesting too because when I was in a really dark place, I spent less time with my family. I isolated, and a big part of that, honestly, was because of shame, because I was ashamed of my emotions. I was ashamed of being sad all the time and um not being able to like be fully present with them. It's kind of crazy. It's like the very thing that you want, sometimes you don't let yourself when you're in a depressed state, and like I did want to be around my family. I wanted that connection, but I didn't want to bring the vibe down. I didn't want them to worry about me. So then I just stayed away. And I made an active effort this year to spend more time with my family, to visit them more often, to be around them more. And that healed me too. Ugh. And again, that is a luxury that I recognize everyone doesn't have truly because my parents have been so supportive and such a great foundation for me, such perfect examples of unconditional love and support that, yeah, anytime I struggle with those feelings of shame and not being enough, again, like their love for me were reminders. And of course, they're your parents, but still, I know that this is not the experience of everybody else. Everybody else doesn't have that. On top of that, I have a really good community here. I've started to get out more. Y'all, like I joined a darts league. It's really hilarious, actually. I love it. Um, I'm not good at darts, but we're there for the vibes. But like I started engaging more in my community, being less alone. I started engaging a lot with my community at church, and it is something that's continuously growing, and that has helped me so much as well. Um, and then therapy, y'all. I mean, you will never hear the end of it from me when it comes to therapy. You already know. But therapy has been a game changer for me as well. And I think I mean, I'm obviously still in therapy, let's be real here, but it is something that has challenged me to prioritize myself. By me continuously going to therapy, I'm pushing myself to like going to therapy is an act of self love, and it doesn't always feel that way, but it's been that thing that I've been doing. And uh, I'm just so grateful for it. So, yeah, I mean, this is where we're at, y'all. And this is not going to be the end of this conversation. I plan to have a lot more conversations about self-love, with, obviously on my own, but also with some special guests. So I'm just really excited, y'all. I'm excited for what's to come. So yeah, y'all, that's where I've been. And so what God has taught me. Hmm. I mean, so many things, but I guess I'll just talk about what I learned today. What I talked about, what I studied this morning in my devotion this morning. So I've actually been doing a personal study on healing. And so I've been kind of focusing on, stories in the Bible that have some kind of lessons to healing. It's so interesting, y'all. This is something I've really enjoyed actually in my Bible study. When I cut, like, what I usually do is I come up with a topic, like something that I'm interested in doing, and so then I focus on looking at stories through that lens. And it's so fun because I mean, if you grow up as a Christian, especially, you read the same stories all the time, you read the Bible, you know the things, but approaching it through a different lens, like, it helps you to see things so differently. So, anyway, so I have been studying Moses, the children of Israel, and the Exodus out of Egypt and all of that, which it's been an interesting thing to look at through a lens of healing. Anyway, this morning I was looking at when the Egyptians, when the firstborn of all the Egyptians were killed, and when Pharaoh finally came to Moses and said, "Okay, go, get out of here and leave," and finally gave the Israelites that freedom. And something I was thinking about was Pharaoh's brokenness. Pharaoh was very hard. And I mean, God did harden his heart. But I believe that Pharaoh's heart was hardened before that. I thoroughly believe God gives us all the opportunity to come to him. He gives us the choices. And we obviously get to choose if we want to follow him or not. Um, and I think the more we choose otherwise, the harder and colder our hearts get, which I think was the case for Pharaoh. But anyway, Pharaoh's heart was hard, and he saw many signs and wonders that God did, all the miracles, and he sometimes would acknowledge them, but then immediately would go back on it. But when his firstborn son died, something broke inside him. Something broke that didn't break from before. And I was thinking about the idea of brokenness and how that can lead to an acknowledgement of God's goodness and maybe even a surrender. And I mean, I've definitely experienced that in my life where my own brokenness brought me closer to God. But what I was thinking about is, do we have to be broken to come to God? No. The reality is we need God all the time. Like, we need him, whether we're doing amazingly or not, whether we're struggling or not. Like, there's never a moment that we do not need the Lord. And the times that we feel, oh yeah, let's just rely on self and we don't need that and we're good, is a big mistake because we can't. And sometimes we get in our own way, and sometimes we deal with the consequences of thinking that we can do this by ourselves. And so I guess, like, the lesson here is just how much we need God. God is reminding me I need him. And he is there, like, he's willing. He is there to be there for me to rely on. Like, God is not some being that is pushing you away, that is like, he is waiting with open arms for you to go to him. He knows how much we need him, and he wants us to come to him. And so I guess that reminder is just the reminder is you need God. Go to him. Go to him. He will accept you as you are. You don't need to fix yourself for him to accept you and love you. I mean, he literally created you. So, yeah, that's what I'm taking with me, especially I am feeling good now. I am feeling a lot better. And I want to make sure that I don't lose sight of the fact that God is a big reason for that. And that I don't move forward with this belief that I don't need him. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that concludes this episode, you guys. I am so excited for the what's to come. And so I hope that y'all continue on this journey with me. Until next time, bye.